really humbling and an honor to be here, standing with all of you, and sharing bits of my story. There's just so much important stuff happening right now with the laws that we're concerned about. Also, I want to just really focus on sharing my story in the sense of focusing on the hope and what's possible. This month we're celebrating National Coming Out Day, which, there's a day, but honestly, that could be really any day. And I just want to reflect on my own journey. About a year ago was when I first showed up in professional settings, sort of as Julia, and sort of began my more public transition, and it's hard for me to share details about my journey because I actually just feel guilty about it. I haven't experienced a lot of the things that we read about and hear about by so many members of our gender diverse community. I've been married for 17 years, still I'm married, and I have 3 kids. My wife is actually with one of our kids right now in a volleyball tournament, but 2 of my kids are here. I have a job. I have an ability to contribute as an educator, as a physician, and none of that has really gone away. And it's really humbling, I do think a lot of this symbolizes just the fact that our world is evolving. So many people before me have walked this path and faced so many challenges, and it's, I think, led to a more inclusive world with speed bumps along the way. We're not there yet. I want to take a moment and just share an essay that I was able to publish on anesthesiology, which is one of the premier journals in our specialty, just highlighting one of my experiences. So this is a routine post-operative visit. So for most of my life, I feared that there was something wrong with me. Growing up, I presented as a man, and I feared that exploring and expressing my identity was not compatible with having a family or a professional career. If I told my younger self that one day I would be living openly as a trans woman in a supportive relationship, a parent of 3 amazing children, and serving as a physician leader in pediatric anesthesiology, and respected and celebrated as a human being, my younger self would have answered that this reality was impossible. I actually do remember having versions of this type of conversation with close friends when I was in high school, college, and medical school. And this was in the late 1990s and early 2000s. And the conclusion of all those conversations was always the same, like, that's just not going to happen. It's not possible for that to happen. For me, these questions evolved over time. They never really went away. Would I successfully match in a residency program? Would I match in a pediatric anesthesiology fellowship? Would I be allowed to take care of pediatric patients? Would people let me take care of their kids, at a time of great stress when they're having surgery? Would I lose my job? Would I lose my family? Gradually, I received growing support and affirmation from family, from friends, from colleagues across the country, and indirectly also from role models in the community. Admiral Rachel Levin, who's our Secretary of Health and Human Services and an openly transgender physician, Professor Jennifer Finley Boylan, who transitioned when she was on faculty at Colby University and transitioned while married and with kids and remained in those relationships, 20 years ago almost. Senator Sarah McBride, who's in Delaware and running for Congress, or I think House of Representatives actually, but an actress, Nicole Maines, who as a 5th grader in Maine testified at the state court levels to advocate for bathroom access in elementary schools, and the fact that 5th graders have to bear that burden is really humbling. For me, the walls of fear that I lived behind, they slowly dissolved, and in April, just reflecting April of 2023, I had this one experience where all of the things that were impossible actually happened. So there was On a Monday, I cared for a child who was having a complex neurosurgical procedure. I had actually known that family over the course of their journey, and which happened to be before and after my transition. We never really spoke about my journey. I mean, I was there for them and for their daughter. The day after the surgery, I happened to have a non-clinical day, so I didn't have to wear scrubs. Most of the time, if you see me in the hospital, you just see me in scrubs, but I got to show up that day, and I was wearing a dress and a blazer, and I wanted to go and see my patient, but I wasn't really sure if that would work. I'd never done that before. But I went ahead and did it, and I walked into the pediatric intensive care unit. I met with the care team. I discussed the postoperative course, talked to the family, visited with them and the patient. And honestly, it was the most typical, boring, routine postoperative visit. I just happened to be wearing a dress for the first time in my life, doing that. And taking these steps into a world that literally felt impossible, it was like, it just kind of has opened my mind as to what else is possible. I have experienced compassion, affirmation. I mean, there's been days that are better than others. You know, it's not without its speed bumps, but the overall experience has been a very positive one. And that just tells me that our world is changing. The community where we live in, you know, and this is all here in Nebraska. I mean, I've lived all over the United States, and the transition happened here. This community is not going away. You know, the laws that we're having to deal with, those are temporary. The people are here to stay. Thank you for listening.